Straight ahead on Action 2 News at 10, new information into our newsroom. A standoff on Green Bay's northeast side is officially over. How police resolve the issue.
A Crivets man is behind bars tonight after an internet crimes against children investigation. He was advertising himself as a photographer. We'll tell you what police say he was really looking for.
And tragedy in Buffalo, New York. A father dies after trying to save his children from a burning house. An update on his children's conditions.
From WBAY TV, coverage you can count on. Action 2 News at 10 starts now.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We're learning new information tonight about that police standoff in Green Bay. Police tell us the standoff on the city's northeast side is over after the SWAT team found the suspect in the basement of the home, drunk, unconscious, and with a gunshot wound to his leg.
A domestic incident led to a number of home evacuations this afternoon. Several families were even told to hide in their basements, though things are getting back to normal at this hour. That standoff happened in a home in the 3400 block of Baywatch Drive. Police were called out to the scene just after 2 this afternoon after the man's family told police he was armed and distraught. George Rodas tells us how the situation was resolved.
Green Bay Police Chief Andrew Smith says he feels a sense of relief tonight. He says all things considered, this incident ended in the best possible way. Police spent nearly 4 hours trying to convince the man to leave his home on the 3400 block of Baywatch Drive on Green Bay's northeast side. At one point, SWAT team members deployed multiple flashbangs, the chief says, to distract or try to get the man's attention. After multiple attempts to contact the man, the chief says SWAT decided to go in and located the man in his basement, intoxicated, unconscious, and with what they believed was a self-inflicted gunshot wound to his leg.
But I got to tell you, our SWAT team exhibited a lot of patience today, going in there very methodically. Obviously, they were very concerned for his safety and well-being, and it paid off. We were able to take him into custody without any use of force, without any shots.
Our cameras caught the moment medical units removed the man from the home and bringing him into an ambulance waiting nearby on a stretcher. Chief Smith says the most important thing in his mind is that at the end of the night, everyone gets to go home. In Green Bay, George Rodas, Action 2 News.
A 73-year-old Crivets man is behind bars tonight after an internet crimes against children investigation.
Police say he was using social networking sites to advertise as a professional photographer. James Swanson was arrested in Waukesha after detectives say he tried to meet with a 15-year-old girl with intentions of taking explicit photos of her. Tonight, Claire Cayley takes a closer look at Swanson's background and how long he's been known to law enforcement.
James Swanson showed up on police's radar in 1988. Court documents show he was convicted of first-degree sexual assault of his then 10-year-old stepdaughter. In 2001, police had contact with him again, this time for taking topless photos of a 16-year-old girl. He was never charged in that case. Fast forward to 2016. Waukesha police say Swanson owned a photography business and was messaging what he thought was a 15-year-old girl to take explicit photos of her. He sent her nude pictures of women and his exposed genitals. The victim turned out to be Waukesha police, who arrested Swanson. Police executed a search warrant here at Swanson's home in Crivets, where they found multiple electronic devices showing communications with the victim.
He had great camera equipment, great lighting equipment.
Swanson was the assistant fire chief of the Middle Inlet Fire Department, but investigators say he recently retired. Now, police are asking anyone who may have been a victim of his to come forward.
I'm worried that in Crivets or anywhere in between the Milwaukee metro area and that area, that he's taken topless or nude photographs of someone.
His preliminary hearing is set for Wednesday. His cash bond set at $50,000. Claire Cayley, Action 2 News.
Today's wind caused a number of issues across the Midwest. Check it out. Strong gusts reached 60 miles an hour, flipping over a semi-truck near Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Still no word on whether anyone was injured. Similar cases were reported throughout the state. Windy City really lived up to its nickname today. Gusts reached up to 70 miles per hour and sent debris flying at 2 construction sites. It forced evacuations at a number of different housing complexes. It also caused street closures and shut down parts of public transportation. Meanwhile, in Milwaukee, trees were snapped in half in one neighborhood. Crews spent a good chunk of the afternoon cleaning up debris around that city. We haven't heard of any major issues with today's wind in our area, but the wind gusts were pretty strong. Meteorologist Brad Spackwitz joins us now with an update on our windy weather today. Brad.
All right, Bill, take a look at some of these peak wind gusts around northeastern Wisconsin, and some of them are very strong. Check out Fond du Lac. You had a peak wind gust of 47 miles per hour, 49 at Manitowoc and 48 at Sheboygan. Not quite as strong to the north, but even there you had wind gusts approaching 35 miles per hour. We did have a wind advisory in effect throughout much of the day and earlier this evening. It has since expired, but winds are still somewhere between about 15 and 25 miles per hour with some occasionally higher gusts across northeastern Wisconsin. Still mild at this hour, temperatures mostly in the 30s and low 40s. Overnight tonight, we could have a few other passing showers. You see them way to the far west. They'll stroll through here later on tomorrow. But good news for your day Saturday. It will be dry and still mild. Sunday could present a little rain or snow, though. We'll talk more about your detailed weekend forecast in just a few moments.
Thanks, Brad. The Oshkosh School Board will vote next week on a list of proposed cuts if a $28 million referendum fails in April. That list includes closing a school. As Jason Zimmerman reports, an aggressive campaign is expected from both sides.
Facing a big deficit, the Oshkosh Area School District is bracing for cuts, which according to this report will take place over 2 years, starting this fall without the passage of a referendum. Most noticeable, the district will close one of its 5 middle schools after freezing teacher wages and eliminating lower enrollment classes.
We simply couldn't continue to offer quite a number of elective classes in world languages to certain areas within in sciences, in business ed. Whole departments would probably collapse because their numbers wouldn't wouldn't justify operation.
Other cuts would target athletic programs, combining teams from North and West High School, from golf and soccer to football.
When you have 3,000 high school students and having one football team, you're cutting in half the potential opportunity for students to participate.
The referendum is asking taxpayers for $4 million per year for 7 years. On Facebook, there's an opposition group. Attempts to reach the organizer were unsuccessful, but in postings, that person vowed to be, quote, organized and up in arms, end quote. Some parents say the possible cuts are concerning.
I'm an advocate for young people. I wish that the governments of our state and our communities would be the same way.
The school board will cast a final vote next Wednesday night. That meeting starts at 6. Reporting in Oshkosh, Jason Zimmerman, Action 2 News.
In Washington, D.C., today was about honoring a Supreme Court justice. Hundreds of mourners lined up in the cold at the Supreme Court to honor the late Justice Antonin Scalia, who unexpectedly passed away at a Texas hunting lodge last Saturday. Court police served as pallbearers, and nearly 100 former law clerks served as honorary pallbearers. The flag-draped casket was slowly brought up the Supreme Court steps to lie in repose in the Great Hall of the court. Inside, the 8 remaining justices stood in the order in which they sit on the Supreme Court bench. One of Scalia's sons, who is a priest, offered a prayer.
In your wisdom, you have called your servant Antonin out of this world.
President and First Lady were among those paying their respects. Vice President Joe Biden and his wife Jill will attend the funeral service tomorrow.
The Oshkosh Police Department is investigating a series of messages left in a men's restroom threatening the Winnebago County Sheriff's Office. Those messages were left in the men's restroom at Quick Trip on Jackson Street, an antique shop on Washburn Street, and at Mercy Medical Center. They were first noticed in October of last year. The most recent was reported on Tuesday at Mercy. Anyone with information about who is behind those messages is asked to call the Oshkosh Police Department or call Winnebago County Crime Stoppers.
A heartbreaking story out of Buffalo, New York, after a father ran into his burning home to save his children and never came out. The blaze started early this morning when police say 24-year-old Demetrius Johnson initially ran out of his home with his 9-year-old daughter. She suffered severe burns across 90% of her body. He then ran back inside to save his 2 other children, and he died. The 2 other children, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, were rescued from the home. All 3 children are being treated for their injuries.
Oh, this is a sad day. This is a sad day.
Another man in the upstairs portion of the home also died. The cause of that blaze is not known.
Well, today's mild temperature, certainly a nice little break from winter. Not record warmth, but you can't complain about some of these. Check it out. 51 degrees for a high today at Wautoma and Sheboygan and Manitowoc. 46 in Green Bay, even at Iron Mountain, Michigan, 40 today. We have a few more milder days ahead. Not as mild, but mild. We'll check out your detailed weekend forecast right after this.
From WBAY TV, Bill Jartz and Cammie Rapson. This is Action 2 News at 10. Coverage you can count on.
All right, your weather headlines for the weekend ahead. First of all, it'll still be breezy tomorrow, but not as windy, so I think you might appreciate that. Otherwise, it'll still be mild, but not quite as mild as it was today. And somewhere Sunday, a rain or snow shower, just a chance thereof. Bottom line, most of your weekend should be dry. Here's one more check on those peak wind gusts across the area today. And notice also down around Milwaukee, a 59-mile-per-hour peak wind gust, 62 in Chicago. So you get the idea, there was plenty of wind across the upper Midwest. And even now, the wind's still around 15 to 25 miles per hour, some occasionally higher gusts, but over time tonight, as the night wears on, those winds will subside. Okay, there's Pinpoint Predictor, I should say that snow tracker, and to the far north, there's a little bit of light rain being detected yet in Menominee County of Michigan's Upper Peninsula. The rest of us are dry for the time being. In fact, we're seeing a mix of clouds and stars now, but you can see let me give you a broader view here, just a few spotty showers with another little disturbance that is going to rotate right across the area here a little bit later on tonight. Pinpoint Predictor actually does a pretty good job of picking up on that. This is 11 p.m. and here come those showers later tonight during the overnight hours around 2 or 3 in the morning. They're out of here by tomorrow morning though, so they'll happen as you sleep or while most of you sleep. Your nighttime lows tonight should be pretty mild there for the most part, in the 30s for nighttime lows tonight. Okay, there's tomorrow, 7 a.m. We start the day with at least a chance of some sun, but notice as the day wears on, we start to get more clouds arriving. So a little bit of sun, plenty of clouds, but dry. Your daytime highs tomorrow still pretty mild. Bear in mind the normal high is about 30 degrees. Tomorrow we should have a mix of upper 30s and some low 40s, especially to the south there. So most of us actually in the low 40s. So pretty pleasant day in that respect. And I mentioned it won't be as windy. You'll still have wind speeds up around 15 miles per hour, maybe up around 20 with an occasional gust, but that'll be about it. Now tomorrow night we're still dry, but the clouds continue to move across the area. And that takes us right into your Sunday. 7 a.m. Sunday. Clouds, but dry. But notice by about the noon hour, which is right about there, we're starting to get some snow showers popping up and a few others just very light and very scattered about. There might even be a little bit of rain in there somewhere. So it's about a 1 in 3 chance that you get something at your place there. Your highs on Sunday should be a little bit cooler for most of us in the middle 30s there, but that's still 5 degrees above average. And really over the next 7 days, most of the time we will be warmer than average. Other than the possibility of maybe a slick spot somewhere Sunday, it really looks like a pretty quiet spell of weather over the next 7 days. Otherwise, currently 36 at Antigo, 42 at Shawano, 41 at Oshkosh, Appleton, you're at 39, 40 at Manitowoc, a 39 there at Oconto and Sturgeon Bay. Officially at the National Weather Service in Green Bay, 39. It feels like 31 with a south wind at 14 miles per hour. All right, from Storm Center 2, here's your forecast for tonight. Gradually less wind, a mix of clouds and stars, a few spotty rain showers, and 30s for nighttime lows tonight. Then ahead for tomorrow, not as windy with more clouds than sun, a lot of lower 40s for daytime highs with a west wind at 12 to 22 miles per hour. A few spotty snow showers on Sunday, cooler though, 35, 31 on Monday with a partly sunny sky, 37 Tuesday, 33 on Wednesday. Somewhere in there Tuesday night or early Wednesday, there might be a little snow shower or a flurry, no big deal. Mostly cloudy sky there on Thursday and 33, and looking ahead to next Friday, 29 degrees with a partly sunny sky.
Already peering into your crystal ball that far?
Way down the road. I also foresee a spring in the offing.
Ooh,
Breaking
that's
news
bold.
just into the Action 2 newsroom.
WBAY teaming up with Furnitureland to give away over $20,000 worth of furniture, including a grand prize worth $10,000. We draw that daily winner every day on Action 2 News at 6. And new this year, everyone who enters will also have a chance to win the second place prize, a gift certificate to Furnitureland worth $5,000.
So here's how it works. Just enter the keywords given out every day during Action 2 News this morning, Action 2 News at 6, Action 2 News at 5:30 on Sundays, and Action 2 News at 10. Those are 3 great chances to enter every day. So here are today's keywords: China Cabinet. Enter China Cabinet at our website through the Action 2 News on the Go app, or text them, I should say, to 36729. Again, China Cabinet. Good luck, and we'll be right back.
We are less than 24 hours away from the next primary and caucus. Today, Republican and Democratic hopefuls are doing whatever they can to rally supporters. On the Republican side, the South Carolina primary is tomorrow. The latest polls show Donald Trump with a shrinking lead among the Palmetto State voters, followed by Senators Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio. Jeb Bush, Governor John Kasich, and Ben Carson fill out the back of the pack. Trump fired up a Myrtle Beach crowd about his plan to build a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border. This comes just one day after Pope Francis said a person who builds walls and not bridges isn't Christian. Trump says he thinks the Mexican government manipulated the Pope.
They had him convinced that illegal immigration is like a wonderful thing. Not wonderful for us. It's wonderful for Mexico.
Meanwhile, polls show Clinton and Sanders are neck and neck heading into tomorrow's contest. Senator Sanders told crowds in the city of Elko he's there to win.
Show the world that democracy is alive and well here in Nevada.
We'll have complete coverage of tomorrow's Republican primary in South Carolina and the Democratic caucus in Nevada right here on Action 2 News. We'll bring you the latest results on Action 2 News at 10.
A close call for one Texas school bus that made it past a set of railroad tracks in the nick of time.
Oh my God.
A group of Klein Oak High School students captured the moment on their cell phones. One student says the driver stopped in the middle of the tracks as the train was coming, but pulled a little bit ahead as the train barreled by. The driver told the school the students were too loud for the bus to be driven safely. The school is investigating the incident and the driver has since been fired.
Chase for an armed robbery suspect played out early this morning in an Oregon neighborhood. And neighbors say it looked just like a scene out of a movie. Shortly after 3 this morning in Portland, police received a call of an armed robbery at a business and found the suspect's vehicle a short distance away. That's when they found the suspect hiding on a rooftop of a home. Police used megaphones to tell him to put up his hands and also told him they would shoot him if he tried to reach for anything. He eventually jumped off the roof, and that's when police arrested him. Police said the woman inside the home had no idea the suspect was on a roof until police told her to get down and hide while the scene was unfolding. No one was injured during the incident.
Chris, you're now with sports.
All right, top-ranked St. Norbert closing out their regular season tonight. Frank Kaminsky returning to Wisconsin, this time to face the Bucks. And the NFL suspends this promising Packers defensive lineman. Those stories and high school hoops coming your way when we come back.
Here's Chris Roth from Action 2 Sports, brought to you by the Orthopedic and Sports Institute of the Fox Valley, the Recovery Inn for hips and knees.
How you doing, everybody? For the second season in a row, the Packers are going to start the season with one of their defensive linemen out of the rotation due to a suspension. Last year it was both LaTroy Guion and Dayton Jones. This year it's going to be Mike Pinnell, the promising third-year pro, suspended for the first 4 games for violating the league's policy and program for substances of abuse, not performance-enhancing substances. Pinnell saw limited action in 13 games when he was a rookie, but he played every game last year, started 5 times, racked up 22 solo tackles, had a sack and a forced fumble. The 4-game suspension is the penalty for a Stage 2 violation. That means Pinnell was already in the program. He is eligible to participate in the off-season programs and training camp. Well, St. Norbert is a top-ranked Division III hockey team in the country, but they still don't have the top seed locked up for their own conference tournament. They need a win tonight in their finale and Adrian to lose one of their final 2 games to clinch that top seed. St. Norbert facing MSOE again tonight, this time at home. Last night it was Milwaukee. Well, after a scoreless first, a little history is made in the second. The first ever penalty shot in the 16-year history of the building, and Michael Hill buries it 1-0 St. Norbert. And a couple of minutes later, Tony Kujawa keeps it 1-0. He's going to stone this MSOE breakaway. Then a 5-minute major assessed to the visitors, and Eric Cooper scores on the power play. 17th straight game with a point for him, tying the school record. 4-zip the final. Adrian won their game tonight, so if they win tomorrow, they'll be the 1 seed. St. Norbert will be the 2 seed. To boys basketball, top 2 teams in the Bay Conference, Xavier at Seymour tonight. Both teams 10-2 in conference play. And a close start in this one. Sam Burkhardt behind the back, and then the kick out behind the back to Sam Ferris, who of course buries it. So we have a nice highlight. Hawks down 1. Thunder respond though. Alex Shue on a 6-0 run by himself. The jumper there puts Seymour up by 4. But the Hawks charge on back. Burkhardt off glass. And then come from behind, win tonight for Xavier, 49-46. They clinch a share of the Bay Conference title. To the FRCC, second place Bayport, visiting third place De Pere early in the second half. Max Huddleston, nice spin move in the post, puts De Pere within 9, but this one all Bayport in the second half. Dustin DeClean down low, easy deuce. Pirates up by 16, and with a minute left to go, here comes the exclamation mark. Cordell Tinch, throw it down, big fella. And the Pirates win it 81-56. In the FVA, after Kaukauna lost to Kimberly, the Ghosts just 2 games ahead of Appleton West and Oshkosh North and hosting the Spartans tonight. 8 minutes left to play in the first half. The Spartans down 5, but they dish it out. Hayden Gabrilska, splash. Oshkosh North within 2. Second half, though, the Ghosts hanging to a 1-point lead until Jordan McCabe pulls up and drops down for 3. He had 28 points. So did Marcus Moreau. And a little bit later on, you want some shooting range? How about this? Dalton Erdman from Kimberly goes up 11. Kaukauna wins 103-84 to clinch the FVA title. To the NBA and a homecoming for former Badger and current Hornets center Frank Kaminsky. Charlotte in town taking on the Bucks. The Tank had 4 points, 6 rebounds, 24 minutes. Tie game at the half. Second half, look at this move by Jabari Parker. His best game of the year, 23 points, 11 rebounds. But the Bucks blow a 10-point lead in the fourth, so they're going to need a 3 at the buzzer to force OT. Clang! Hornets win at 98-95, ending the Bucks' modest 2-game winning streak. And looky here, the Brewers officially opened spring training today under cloudy Arizona skies. Pitchers and catchers reporting. Most of the pitchers pretty young. In fact, most of the roster is pretty young after all the offseason trades. So it seems like Jonathan Lucroy might be in his final spring training as a Brewer with the rebuilding project underway. Lucroy probably isn't going to last the rest of the season. The rest of the team will report on Tuesday. The first full squad workout set for Thursday.
Green grass.
Kind of looked a little grayish today, but I'm sure it was green.
Thank you, sir.
We'll be back.
Breaking news just into our newsroom tonight. We're learning about a serious crash on Green Bay's west side. You're looking live now at the scene. Our crews at the scene say it's just north of Oakwood Drive on Packerland Drive. Our crews say right now it's unclear just how many cars are involved. They say it looks at least 2 are involved. About a dozen emergency vehicles are on the scene, including police, fire, and ambulances. At least 1 ambulance has left the scene. Roads around that intersection are closed, so expect to be detoured. Police also tell our crews they'll likely be there for a while. We'll be following this story and have the latest on Action 2 News this morning and also online.
And before we leave tonight, let's get a final check on that weather.
All right, well, we'll continue to melt a little bit of snow tomorrow. 41 for a daytime high there, breezy, but not as windy as today, and more clouds than sun. About 41 for a high temperature there. A little bit cooler on Sunday, 35, a passing snow shower, otherwise plenty of clouds there.
Thanks,
Chris?
All right, Saturday matinee for the Phoenix men tomorrow, 1 o'clock tip against Youngstown State. Jordan Faust with 1 steal will become the Horizon League's all-time leader. He's going to become Green Bay's all-time leader in games started. Already leads them in steals and rebounds, so you want to see a really good basketball player, go out there tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Jordan Faust.
You've done your prep for the broadcast, haven't you?
Maybe.
Good luck.
Good night.